Okay, Hare Krishna. Kanchana, thank you for Prabhuji for joining my class. And I sing Lavish Prabhu, Raju Prabhu, so many devotees, Satyadev Prabhu, Mahesh Prabhu, and Santosh Adit Prabhu, Ayer Prabhu, Manila Mataji. Thank you for joining. And I'll just start. Today's Vaman Dwadasi is very auspicious day also. And I'll just share my views. I know many of my devotees are seniors of my age, and they are have lots of experiences and maturity from their lives. That is, they count more than the just being in the ISKCON for long years. So our life experiences, the years and the kind of the age of your years and what you work, that gives give lots of maturity and experiences than just being in ISKCON and knowledge. So, and thank you. I welcome everyone. So I'll start with the Mangalacharan. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुं लिप्तमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं स्वयं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपीशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तविंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Uh, Today being Vaman Dwasi, I was searching what slokas should I take because Prabhuji requested me to speak on some topics like Vaman Dev, and recently it was Bhisma Panchaka also, when the Bhisma Dev departed from this material world, and tomorrow is a Nitya Chaturdashi also. So I thought, okay, I'll take little from learning from all these the great personality, and we'll speak on them. So I'll just share my screen about everyone must know the Dasavataram Stotram, right? So we'll take the Dasavataram from Jayadev, and then we'll have something called Vaman Stotram. I not prepared the slide. I'm sorry for that, but we'll take this one, the Damodarashtakam. Mm, sorry, uh, Vaman mantra from the Dasavataram. Mm-hmm. Sloka. I'm a little bit comfortable with the Hindi. That's why I've downloaded the Hindi. I'll take in English. Mm, yeah. Mm. Yeah, everyone can recite. I'll just read, then we can recite after me. Sorry. Amazing. Prabhuji, can you put the Dasavataram, Prabhuji? Subhara Prabhu?
You want the sloka to be put, Prabhu?
Yeah, Dasavataram is from the
Exactly. Yeah. Otherwise,
it's all in the video form.
Just type lyrics, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Just type lyrics.
Dasavataram lyrics.
Yeah. Take KK songs, Prabhuji. That would be better. Go
KK.
back. Just go back. Back. There is a KK song.
Okay, this one, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have shared the link, Prabhuji, in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Sorry, Prabhuji. चलयसि विक्रमणे बलिम् अद्भुता वामना पदनखनीरजनित जन पावन केशवधीर्ता वामन रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे. Number 5 sloka. The devotee can recite.
Chalayasi
Malim
Vikramavamana
Padanakhanita Jana Pavana Kesavadrita Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare
Jagadish Hare.
Meaning of this sloka is that, O Kesava, O Lord of Universe, O Lord Hari, who assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, all glories to you, O wonderful dwarf. By your massive steps, you deceive King Bali, and by the Ganges water that is emanated from the nails of your lotus feet, you deliver all living beings within this world. This is the famous song from the Jayadev, and I'll take there's something called Vaman Stotram also that I was going through, and yeah, Vaman Stotram lyrics. We'll decide this also, and then we start the classes. There's 2 slokas are there. We can decide on that. Yagya sa yagya purusa cha purusa chuta tirtha pada tirtha sarvana mangla namadheya आपन्न लोक विजिनोपास मोधयाधया सह समनः कीर्तिस भगवन्निस दीननाथ. The devotee can decide.
यज्ञेश यज्ञपुरुष तीर्थपाद तीर्थश्रवः श्रवण
मंगलनामधाये
आपन्न
Apana
शम्नः क्रुधीश भगवन्नसि दीननाथ.
Lord Sri Vamana, you are the core of the Yajna. You are the presiding deity of Yajna as Sri Achyuta. Your feet were adorned with holy water. You are in the auspicious form of holy waters. Your name is auspicious to hear. You are intent on diminishing the sins of those who surrender to you. You are the primary God who protects the depressed and the downtrodden people. Second sloka. Vishwasya Vishwabhavna Tithi Sayamaya Sweram Grihita Purusakti Gunaya Bhumne Swasthaya Saswado Pamrita Purnabodha Vyapadi Tatha Tatatma Tatmastam Se Harya Namastate.
Vishwaya
Vishwaya
विश्वाय
Vishwabhuta
विश्वभवन स्थिति संयमाय स्वैर गृहीत पुरुषक्ति गुणाय भूमे स्वस्थाय शश्रुत
Sarvadaya Prabhu Vidya
पब्रुम हित पूर्ण बोधा
Purnabhuta.
व्यापारी तात्मतव से हरये नमस्ते.
Namaste.
Lord Sri Vamana, you do the creation, protection, and destruction of the universe. You are the personification of the illusion and yet are eternally stable. You are the embodiment of complete knowledge. You have no place of darkness in your soul. My humble salutations to you, Sri Hari, the Universal. Ayuha param vapurvishta matutulya lakshmi धौर्य भूरशा सकल योग गुणास्त्रे वर्ग ज्ञानम च केवलम नंत भवन्ति तुष्टा तत्तोत्र निर्नाम किमुस्न जयादिरासि.
Ayu
आयुः
Ayo
परम
Gauram
वपुरभीष्ट मतुल्य लक्ष्मी
Lakshmi
गौभूरसाः सकलयोग गुणास्त्रिवर्गः ज्ञानञ्च केवलम् अनन्त भवन्ति तुष्टा त्वत्तो नृणां किमु सपन्न ज्यादिराशिः.
Lord Sri Vamana, you bless us the life, the desired body, and the wealth. You bless us the yogic attributes, characteristics, and control over the universe. If you are pleased with us, will you not grant us easy triumph over the enemy? Iti Srimad Bhagavad Purana Antargata Vamana Stotam Sampurnam. Thank you, Rashani Prabhuji. And I'll just start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate
भगवते वासुदेवाय.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ
Om
नमो
Namo
भगवते
Bhagavate
वासुदेवाय.
Vasudevaya.
I'll start today's Vaman Dwadasi. So I've taken some, I told you the points from the lives of the Vaman Leela, so that we can learn from all these lessons from these all pastimes of the Lord. Now, all the pastimes of Lord, they have kind of different perspectives to see on these pastimes, and we hear from the different devotees and even the different sampradaya from different Vaishnava sampradaya, and at the different ages of their lives and different relations, the same sloka you see. We recite the same, we chant the same mantra every day, and we reading the same Bhagavatam, and the same Bhagavatam is there from thousands of years, and devotees talk on that, give the lectures, give the talk, the interpretations, bhashya on that same sloka, but the all looks different. So this all from the different realizations and perspective what they feel in their vision says, and their different ages, and at the level of their spiritual progress, at the level of their spiritual progress. I was just going through, and I just thought I'll share a few thoughts from that. So first and foremost, you see that uh, the Vaman Dev given the blessings to Maharaj Bali, and Maharaj Bali comes from the Asura dynasty. And he was the lineage from the Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu, And he was the grandson, definitely grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, son of Virochana. But he was there from the Asura dynasty, and in our you see that in the Vedic cultures, the Asutra and Agotra people, so not the Maliksha and Yavana, we say, they not comes in the kind of Vedic rituals. But Bhagwan is not bound to give mercy to only the peoples who are in the kind of having Gotric or who comes in the Vedic systems. That's why our society, the Krishna Conscious society, the Prabhupada went beyond to the Vedic peoples who are so-called Vedic peoples who are the Gotra. He went to the Westerners and he given the mercy to those peoples also. This is the way we see that whatever Acharya do, they do in the lineage of the previous Acharya or and the Bhagavan also. So see, you can see that Vamana Dev, he given to the mercy the demon kings, the Maharaj Bali who defeated the Deva, and he was doing the Samyak Yajna to get become the king of the whole universe, and that was the purpose. Vamana Dev came to uh, disqualify that Yajna. Even we see in many instances in our scriptures and history also, कि Bhagavan comes to deliver not only the kind of the Gotric people, the Vedic people, he comes to deliver to Sudra, Chandala, and Asura also. So it only requires the surrenders, where what kind of surrender, all the times the many Radhana Swamis and many other acharyas says that intentions which matters, intention of heart which matters, because Bhagavan is there as in a form of Paramatma in our heart. He knows our intentions. If our intentions are pure and clear, Bhagavan accepts. You know the story of Kanakdas also in the Udupi. That's why till now the deities has turned 180 degrees. He's not on the kind of the deity is not facing the main entrance. It is facing opposite to the main entrance, and there's a window where the Kanak Das used to come and recite the slokas in praise of Bhagavan Krishna, Udupi Shri Krishna, and that's why still the Kanak Das poems recitation so popular. So Bhagavan is not bound to just to the peoples who are kind of Gothic. He can deliver the Asura, Sudra, Chandala, and we need our intentions to be pure and to be surrendered. The second thing in a different perspective I am taking again, yeah, the how the Vaman Dev, the Sukracharya, his guru, the Maharaj Vali's guru, the Sukracharya was telling, he is Vishnu, and you should not you should not take from what do you say, the promise to give the three whatever three benedictions. You should not give all those things because he's Vishnu, he will cheat you. But he disobeyed his spiritual masters. The Maharaj Bali disobeyed the spiritual master Sukracharya. And what after disobeying the spiritual master, you see, he lost everything. He lost himself, he lost the whole kingdom, and he lost all the benedictions, all the credits of the yajna. So this from the other perspective, we can see that the disobeying the spiritual masters, the consequences we can see that what we can see when we disobey the spiritual masters. So disobeying even every day in the morning also, before the chanting, we recite the 10 offenses against the holy name, and in one of the third or fourth is that the disobeying of the spiritual master is is very what to say, not having the good credits. So disobeying the spiritual masters, we can have the consequences. It can take yourself, your mental credit, spiritual credits, and everything. So disobeying the spiritual masters is definitely not permitted in our sampradaya, in any sampradaya. And again, we can understand the third lessons from Vamandev pastime, that if you want to achieve your goal, means our goal to achieve the Krishna or Vishnu, you need full surrenders. Half-hearted surrenders we cannot achieve the Krishna or Vishnu. You can see that the law what is Bali Maharaj, he has to surrender everything. He has to surrender he surrendered all his kingdoms, all his wealth, and even he could not have everything. Then he surrendered himself. Then only Bhagwan got pleased. The Bhagwan Bali, the Lord Vamana got pleased with him. So that was the thing that for getting the Vishnu and Krishna, we cannot be the half-hearted surrenders. It should be full-hearted surrenders and complete surrender. Then only we can achieve our goals. There's another one aspect of this Vamandev, that when these things were happening, when Vamandev was measuring the whole world through his steps, and he got everything. And that time, Vamandev's sister was there, and Vamandev, Bhagavan beauty is unparalleled, and everyone was awestruck to see the beauty of the Vamandev and the Vamandev. And that time, the Bali Maharaj's sister also was seeing Vamandev, and he was in the dwarf form. He was looking like a small child. And that time she got desire. Oh, so beautiful boy is there. Uh, Alas, I could have been mother of this beautiful boy. And that desire she had while seeing the Vamandev. And Paramatma in our head, Paramatma in our heart, he knows the desires of all living beings, and he fulfills the desires of all living beings, despite you being a devotee, non-devotee, and atheist, and whatever you are there. The Bhagavan fulfill the desires according to their credits, past credits, and the present credit, whatever is there. But he fulfilled the desires. And again, the second thoughts came on her mind that if he could be my son, I could have killed him. So that was the things, because of these desires. Bhagavan fulfilled the desires when she came in the form of Putana, because Putana give the milk to the Bhagavan Krishna. So she came is the form of the mother. Bhagavan fulfilled that she wanted to become mother. So she became a mother, kind of mother, to give milk to Krishna. And she wanted to kill Bhagavan Krishna, and that's why she put the poison on her breast, and she tried to kill Krishna. So both the desires of sister of Maharaj Bali got fulfilled by just just seeing the Lord and having the desires. So when we in the front of deities, and when in front of the Bhagwan, I mean in front of the pure devotee, our desire should be very, it should be very, you cannot say pure, but it should be very aligned, that we should not be having desires, something we should not want. So whenever we go in front of deities, or when we are in front of our spiritual master or any sannyasis, our desire should be properly aligned. That's the thought process will be properly aligned, because Bhagavan fulfills all our desires, and it can have consequences in in our future lives, and maybe the next life also. So whenever we have desire, should be very well thoughts. So we talk about the lineage, that even the devanas, Sudra, Chandal can be delivered. The disobeying the Guru have the very bad consequences. Then from getting Vishnu, we need the full surrenders, and Vishnu fulfills all desires, whatever in our heart. So our desires should be purified slowly. So these are the lessons I learned from the Vamanas stories I discussed with you. Then Prabhuji asked me to get some lessons from the Bhishma Maharaj. The Maharaj Vali is one of the Mahajana. Similarly, Bhishma is also one of the Mahajana. So you can see that this Mahajana, the Bhishma, he was on the Kaurava sides. And we can see that even the Mahajana, if you are Mahajana means they're kind of pure devotees of Lord. They're very close to Lord, because they are Mahajana Gatha Sumanta. What they do, we have the common public people like us, we have to follow to him. So even the Bhishma was not in the Pandava side, he was on Kaurava sides, and he has to also follow the prescribed duties. So that is very important lessons, that even we are whatever stage in our lives and whatever positions we are in our life, in the social systems, or maybe in the professional systems, or maybe in whatever systems we are, Varnashram system, we have to follow our prescribed duties. Even Bhisma was not in the side of Pandava, but he has to follow his prescribed duties, being the Kaurava sides, to protect the Hastinapur, to protect the lineage of Bharata. So he has to be in the Kaurava sides. So these things are important, that look like sometimes many contradictory, or he's a Mahajana, and he's fighting against Krishna, he's fighting against Arjuna also, and Arjuna also the pure devotee of Lord. So these things we have to, sometimes what happens in our spiritual lives, many devotees we see all around, we always talk about Anant Koti Vaishnavi ki jai. Anant Koti means, Anant means it's kind of indefinite. Koti means crores. The indefinite devotees are there all around. And maybe the different sampradaya, different systems. It's not be only in the, maybe in the ISKCON and the Krishna consciousness. And it looks like the services looks like contradictory. Like it could be look like this service also sometimes. Like I told you that Arjuna is in the fighting in favor of dharma, and Bhisma is fighting look like say in favor of adharma, but their activities is never questions, because they're following their prescribed duties. So many things when Bhisma was on his deathbed, and he gives so many lessons to the Pandava while before departing. So we can see that even Bhagwan Krishna has given the Bhagavad Gita, and even after that, Krishna told to all the Pandava to go to the Bhisma and to learn. And Pandava, what Bhisma was teaching to them. So Bhisma was teaching to the all the, and it's not teaching all the kind of devotional things. He was teaching about how to lead the personal life, grihastha life. He was teaching how to carry the political things, diplomatic things while ruling. He was teaching all the things while on our deathbeds. So we have to understand that our prescribed duties in whatever social systems there is very important. We cannot ignore that. Then again, we can see that even you are kind of like one of the lectures I'm listening, that if someone's put their fingers or hands in the fire, it's going to burn your hands. Even you are a pure devotee, the fire will not leave their natures. Fire will not leave the natures. Even you are pure devotee, or if a normal person, if not not following the Vedic things, he will also have the burns in their hands, and we also have the burns in their hands. So fire will not leave their natures. But the perspective to see that if we get the burns, we feel that the devotees get the burns. Oh, we got because of our past karma and something, some reaction, something like that. We think and we'll try to do that. And maybe the other Vedic people, they will curse the god and something they will do. So that in the same way, we can see that reactions of whatever karma we do, whatever it could be good karma, bad karma, past karma, whatever we do, even the devotee is going to get that reaction. You can see that even Bhishma, he has to lie down on the bed of arrows for so many months, for a month together, because we can see that this kind of reaction of his deeds, because he was on the sides of adharma. But those things we have to, I told you, in the start of my class, that the perspective of different things we have can see from the different angles. So we can see that it could be reactions, but it could be the just Bhishma desires to get rid of all his kind of so-called misdeeds. But it's not definitely the Mahajana's activities, never his misdeeds. Whatever he does, the activities is all well thoughts and under systems of prescribed duties and the Varnashram systems. He never leave the duties beyond Avedi. So we can see that in reactions of whatever we do, we have to going to get that reaction of all those our actions, and but the perspective of seeing things will be different. So, so I told you that no escape. So from the Bhisma, we've learned that the three things that even Mahajana, they have to do all the duties under the social systems beyond contradictions. Even we are devotees or Mahajana, they are going to get the reaction of their so-called bad deeds. And even the other prescribed duties is important. Even I told you about his death also. Yeah, I missed that point, that he chose to leave his body on the after the Sankranti. You know that because of the after the sun moving to the Makar, because that was the kind of right times to depart his body. So we can see that, when we in Krishna consciousness, we cannot leave our prescribed duties, and that is important. And the different rituals also. So even being a Mahajana, even Mahajana is there, he is the pure devoted Lord. He can leave the body any times by seeing the Krishna, but he choose to a particular time to leave his body. So there are many small things in our day-to-day activities there, that we should not leave that things. Yeah, Krishna consciousness, chanting, all those things are very important. That is the prime duties of all the practicing devotees. But like, the small things, I'll say, like putting the water to the Surya every day in the morning, uh, like putting water to Tulsi every day in the mornings. And many who are Brahman initiated devotees doing Gayatri on their Janu every day, 3 times, doing Sandhya Vandan. So all these look like the small, unnecessary, non necessary activity. But when you are kind of in systems, when you are in Vedic systems, and when you are kind of Varnasana systems and the social system, we have to follow all those things also. We cannot ignore all those things. If we, as you are doing your chantings and whatever things are there, regular principles, if add all those things on our lives, it'll kind of, is just putting an icing on your cake. So we should not leave all those things look like the unnecessary things, like but if we add those things, it will can just add, and it will please the Lord also. Like small things, I told you, that putting arghe to the Surya every day in the morning, then the sunrise, and putting water to Tulsi, and who were Brahmana doing Gayatri on Janu. All these things are very important. We have to understand that these small things will add up in our spiritual life to get our goal. So Visumaraj, then prescribed duties, reaction of karmas, and definitely we have to small prescribed duties we have to follow. And then Prabhu told me to speak about Nityananda Prabhu also. Tomorrow is Nityan Tirudasi, and Nityan is popular as a Avdhuta. Avdhuta, Avdhuta means he has to not follow any regulations, no rules and regulations for him. So that is for the Bhagavan. That is the one's perspective to see his life. But if you read the Charitra of Nityananda Prabhu, it's kind of what we see, the devotees see in the form of compassion. He was a kind of compassionate form of, even he was more compassionate more compassionate in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaurang Mahaprabhu. The many devotees in the Vaishnava Acharyas speak about Nityananda. They say that he was more compassionate than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that is you know that get highlighted from the story of Jagai Madhai, when he went to Jagai Madhai and wanted to give the holy names, and even the Madhai wants to kill him, and still Nityan Prabhu wanted to give the mercy, and what is the mercy of holy names. So you can see that compassionate nature of Vaishnavas. That is the foremost nature. Vaishnavas, we have to inculcate the nature of compassion than the when you're condemning others. We have to see everything as compassion. The Vaishnavas foremost quality is compassion. And that's why we sing Vaishnava Vanchakalaptaru Vaishya. That is the foremost words. We start from that, because he fulfill all desires. Vaishnava fulfill all desires. No, we have to understand that compassion is foremost quality, and we can see from the Charitra of Nityanand that he was giving holy names to even the people who are ruffians. He was going to the, you must be knowing that story, that he used to go to the different old ladies and the old man. He goes to animals and to say, oh, chant Hare Krishna, like that. So uh, you can see the Nityan Prabhu's mood also, because he is Balram. He's always in the prayerful mood. Whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did in the Navadip, Mayapur, and God Lila, he was always in the playful mood, and he was always kind of assisting the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have to understand that because Balram is also Guru Tattva. They say Balram is Guru Tattva. The Nityan Prabhu is the incarnations of Balram. So he was in the form of, he was in the Guru Tattva, but he was always assisting the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his mission. And you can see that the mood of Nityanand is not only limiting to him also. His wife Jahanma Mataji, she was one of the powerful Vaishnava Acharya in our Gaudiya traditions. If you go to the Radha Kund, in the one place in Radha Kund where Raghunath Das Goswami Samadhi is there, and there is something called Jahanma, the bathing place and his worshipping place, and she used to take bath every day in the in the in the Radha Kund, and even the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami used to listen from her because she was kind of one of the one of the oldest Vaishnava Acharya alive at that time, and she used to tell many stories from the Navadvip Dham, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami taken notes from him also. And then there's one more, the Nityan Prabhu's son, his name was Veerbhadra. And Veerbhadra was more popular in the God days in the Bengal. And he, after the Nityan Prabhu left, he did extensively the preachings and the spreading of the Gaudiya tradition, Gaudiya Vaishnava traditions in those area. And they have temples and deities. There's something called near Calcutta, where this Panihati, near the Panihati, one temple is there, which is dedicated to the Nityananda, Jahanna Mataji, and Veerbhadra. So this we can see these acharyas, the acharya like from the Nityanand Prabhu, then Jahanna Mataji, and the Veerbhadra, how they follow in the mood of compassion and in mood of the prayers. So we have to learn from these things. We should not just see the Nitya in the form of Abdhuta, but we have to see that his compassionate natures and his prayerful modes, how the prayerful modes are, and in the mood of serving other devotees. You can see all these Vaishnava Acharya. We should sometimes, because we are following the Gaudiya traditions, and we should listen sometimes the life history of different Vaishnava Acharya, so that we'll get some love and respect for these Vaishnava Acharyas, and we can get some kind of connection with them, and we'll able to inculcate their moods. That is very important. Now, coming to because the recent times, I don't stop speaking about Chinnajaya Swami, because His Holiness Chinnajaya Swami, what we are seeing last 11 days, today's 11th day, 10 days over, that it's kind of big spiritual events happening in the near in the Muchintals near Bhaginagar. Everyone says Bhaginagar. That the way I'm watching kind of in the GR channel almost every day in the morning and evening his talk, and because he's also kind of is following in the system, but following the traditions of Ramanacharya, and I can see that all the qualities of Acharya is in him. All the qualities of Acharya in him. So his personality is definitely look like very revolutionaries, like Acharyas, as Prabhupada Prabhupada activities was during that time in 60s and 70s. It was kind of revolutionary. No Acharya did that before that. He's going to the Western in the Western countries and bringing kind of Maliksha to the Vedic systems and the Brahminical sannyasical systems. He was revolutionary in that way. Similarly, what I see in Chinnajaya Swami is the same revolutionaries. He is, it's kind of putting such a big statue of Ramacharya, and the 216 feet is not a small thing. It's not a joke, and he's serving to his Acharya Sampradaya by putting that. He's made the Ramacharya popular all around the world. Many devotees are coming and just taking darshan of Ramacharya, and he put the many Divideshams, all Dividesham, 108 Divideshams, and he bringing all the saints, different saints from the different sampradayas, from the even from the Sankaracharya Mutt. He's bringing from Ramanandi Sampradaya. He's from inviting the saints from the Ayodhya. I've seen that from Gujarat, Rajasthan, from all around the India. From Madhva Mutts, I saw the saints coming um, from the Pejawar Mutt, Uttarathi Mutt, all coming on the dais, and he's calling everyone, and he's giving credit to everyone. So these are the call, because this statue name is statue of equality. So we can see that his equal vision. We heard that from the Bhagavad Gita that Pandita Samdarsita. Is Pandita, the Acharya, they are Samdarsita. They have the vision for the equal vision for everyone, even for the Chandal, even for the dogs also. We read that, but we fail to follow that mood. But here we can see in the what do you, activity of Chinaya Swami, I'm seeing that he's calling everyone. And one of the talk, he's telling that even a Nastika, even the atheist, they also required in our society. So he was not condemning everyone. He was telling in our philosophy could be different, where someone following Advaita philosophy, someone following the Dvaita philosophy, someone Vishwasadatta, and we following Achintya Bheda. The philosophy could be different. But when it comes in the service for the humankind, for the service of the all the living beings around, so the everyone is needed in the society. Now that was the kind of I saw he called a Jagan Reddy also. We know that Jagan Reddy is kind of, it's not following the very Sanatana Dharma. He's kind of so-called maybe atheist also. But he called Jagan Reddy also on the dais, and he made him speak. And then after that, indirectly, Chinaya Swami gave the indirectly instructions to Jagan Reddy also, and he made him visit to the duty of Ramacharya, and he took him all the kind of 108 the Dividesham. That was the demeanor we can see from the personality of His Holiness Chinaya Swami. And not only that, then he was mentioning one of his talk, Chinaya Swami, that what is the significance of 108 Dividesham. So, he was telling that Ramacharya was traveling extensively he traveled all around India, but he traveled extensively in the southern part, and in every temples, Dividesham is every temple, Vishnu temples, he got the different inspirations and different inspiration, and he from the inspirations he established Dividesham. And I'm not sure what inspiration he got from the each temples, but sometimes we need to study, and definitely we'll say it sometimes. So uh, he was I just want to recite I just want to no, not recite, I just want to retell the story of Ramanujacharya, how he got Om Namo Bhagavate, this Om Namo Narayana, the things or the what do you say, the mantra from Sri Sampradaya. There was one acharya named Goshti and he was very, very kind of popular, popular saints from the Sri Sampradaya. And and Ramacharya went to him kind of telling 17 times to take the initiation and take the sacred mantra from him. And he denied every time. And at the 18th time, Goshti pleased with him, and then he given the sacred mantra on his ears, and he told that, please don't tell to anyone, because if because only the people who are qualified has to listen to and decide their things. Otherwise there will be many reaction of that. And after getting this sacred mantra from the Goshti he went to the temples. This is also one of the desham. I forgot which place is there. We visited in our South India Yatra to that temple.
Kanchi, Kanchi Prabhu, Kanchi
No, not,
Prabhu.
no,
Kanchi, Kanchi.
it's not Kanchi Mataji. It's not Kanchi. It's some other temple where Maharaj took us, and he showed that where it was. It's not Kanchi Vrada's temple, Mataji. It's some different temple, and he climbed on the top of the temple. Sorry. No, not Srirangam also. These are some other Devi Desham. I forgot the name. We have to search. So where he went to top.
Sri Perambuttur Prabhuji.
No. Sri Perambuttur is the birthplace of Ramacharya, but not that. And then he went to the top of the temples and called all the villagers. Like all the villagers means it could be the Sudra also, it could be Chandala also. He called all the ladies also. From that time, ladies was not given to the any Vedic mantra to recite. So that was he was telling, that Chinaya Swami was telling that why he put the name of statue equal to Ramacharya, because he wanted to show that he given equal, means without any caste, creed, religions, and the gender also. He given that he went top on the temple and sorted. Please come and please everyone recite along with me. Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. He sorted and everyone got delivered. And when Goshtifon heard that, and he was telling, what you did? This is very sacred mantra and you give to everyone. And you're going to be hell for these things. We can see that again, the compassionate nature of Vaishnava, that we can see that in a Vaishnava, he told that again, I am ready to go to hell if all these people will going to get the Vaikuntha. So this is this is Titukotaya temples, Lilananda said, yes, Prabhuji. Titukotaya temples. Yeah. This is also a very beautiful temple, mission temples. We visited that temples in 2010, yeah. Beautiful temples. All the destams are very beautiful. Or I was reading a few days back that Prabhupada was telling that all our Krishna conscious temples and the Vaishnava temples, it's just not a temple. So if you go there, you forget everything. You forget all your material desires and thing, and you just feel that you are Vaikuntha and Goloka. So these all, even the including Dividesham, these all temples. If you go there, visit the temple, you will definitely getting the beautiful aura of the spiritual worlds. Now, then he told that I'm ready to go to hell if all these souls are going to go to Vaikuntha. So we can see this same moods having the Prahlad Maharaj also in Bhagavatam. The same words in the seeing the Gaudiya traditions. The name was the Mukunda. When he was telling, he had leprosy. He was when he met to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his prayer was there that I think this Leela was going on. What is that Leela? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela. Mahaprakash Leela, yeah, Mahaprakash Leela was going on when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was calling all the devotees and asking their desires, and that Mukunda was saying, no, not Mukunda, Vasudev that was saying, I want to stay in this material world till all the living beings going to the spiritual worlds, and I'm going to, I want to take their impious creeds, so that I'm ready to stay in the hell for the eternity, but all the living beings should go to the Golok and Golok Vrindavan. So that is the mood of the Vaishnava Acharya we can see from these great peoples. So definitely we have to plan sometimes to see the deities. And one more thing I just wanted to say that at the last part, that as a spiritual practitioners, our sadhana is very important. That is the primemost things there. We should not never compromise in our sadhana. We need to have the 16 rounds attentive chantings. Try to be attentive. So that is very important, because that is the kind of foundation and basis of our spiritual life. If we compromise in our sadhana, our chanting, then everything is going to be, is just. And second thing I want to tell them, if we have heard from many senior devotees and acharya also, when your sadhana is good, definitely you're going to get the services. And definitely before the service comes the satsang, and the satsang is like that. Satsang is just not being with devotees. Many times we meet devotees, definitely all these, the normal talks are also important, like how we are doing, how they are doing, and about the kids and the family, all this thing. But satsang means interaction with some thoughts, what we have learned from the different times, from different speakers. We can say the thoughts, exchange of thoughts should be there, and and there should be the relationship like that. We are going to help each other in elevation our consciousness, so that we achieve our goal. And that should be the meaning of satsanga, just not meeting like that. We should be the exchange of thoughts, and it should be the transformation of also thoughts also there. And because I was talking about the Chinaya Swami, that because what I learned from him, one thing also, because that I want to say that uh, there's always the compassion is not the condemnation, condemn to anything. That is one thing. And we should become a kind of facilitators to the other living beings. Many times what happens, we feel that we want to reform others, we want to transform others, but that should not be the right perspective. We should be facilitated to the living beings to get near to the Krishna or Vishnu, whatever sampradaya they follow. Sometimes what happens with our things, we want to reform, transform, and sometimes we do so many things, but we should avoid those things, and we should be just according to their status, and the what is the different. I told you about also the thing, prescribed duties, that social systems whatever there, according to that we can just help them to reach the whatever the moksha, or whatever we say, the moksha or goloka or vaikuntha. So those things are very important. And as he was telling, that's one Chinaya was telling that we require everyone in the society, even atheists also needed in our society. I can tell you one story from the Ramayana. There's one Rishi was there. His name was, I'm not sure the name, Charak or something was there. And when Bharata met Rama in the Bhardwaj ashram, and Bharata was pleading Rama to come back to Ayodhya and don't go to the forest. But he was not convinced. Then one Rishi came. He was atheist. He was the atheist, and then Valmiki, he was giving many philosophy, the atheistic philosophy, in where we should convince and come back. So in the society, we require the Mayavadi also, we require the Vaishnava Sampradaya also, we require the atheist also, and the different peoples, like in the Golok Vrindavan, all are not gopis, all are not in gopi bhav. There are the nine steps of the nine forms of the is there. What the archana is there, but someone is a kind of sant bhav, someone in the dasya bhav, some in the madhuri bhav, some in the vastal bhav. So all these kind of living beings, all these kind of souls are required in a different even the spiritual and the matter worlds. And we should see that what is our mood is there, and what is our swarupa, we say. We don't know what swarupa is there. They quite long time with the only the internal sadhana mood, and we can understand what is our swarup is there. In the medical term, if you go, because of being doctor, I have to bring something medical. In the medical term, there is something called what is your nature is there. Ego, that is called something called ego alien. It is something called ego alien brought by the Freud. What is your nature is there, and we have to act accordingly. We have to develop our whatever nature is there. It's maybe sant, or it will be dasya, madhuri, whatever is there. And otherwise what will happen, something called ego dyschrony. So that will lead to the conflict between our minds and our natures, and that will hamper our growth in spiritual life, rather than the growing and coming closer. So we have to understand that, and we have to accordingly work on that and live in harmony in the society. And one more thing I just wanted to say, that when I say so all this, when I see all these acharyas never disturb the normal social systems in the society. They always facilitate, they always help the normal societies, normal social systems to go on. They never kind of hamper the what to say, the social systems or Vedic systems or Varnasa systems. They always facilitate the different living beings come closer to the Krishna and Vishnu and reaching to the mind. So, uh, and this, this spiritual life, the eternal process, we have to just work on that. It's just not for this lifetime. Even I tell many times, even after we reach to Golok also, sometimes in our life, maybe in this lifetimes or millions life, we don't know. We have to going there also, we have to chant Hare Krishna, we have to serve Krishna only. So this service process is not going to stop serving devotees and serving Bhagavan. So we have to train our mind, our nature, that we are going to do service, and this is eternal process, and it should be, and this is our journey. And there's other devotees, even spiritual master, they are just going to help us, but we have to see that what our uh, we have to do our own journey. Even not my wife and my children, my parents not going to do our journey, and for that sadhana is very important. I told you satsang, and definitely the seva also. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. And then at the end of my class, I'll take some comments from the Lilananda Prabhu here, and senior devotees. You want to say, and all the people who are senior to me in my age, they can comments, and if they can ask some questions to me. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah. Any questions? Anybody, any reflections?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Sorry, I'm driving. Please forgive me. I'm going to pick up Yugal Kishore Prabhu.
Yes,
But I'm very
Prabhuji.
grateful that you have taken this class. Very, very grateful, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, कुछ comment, कुछ addition, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My only comment is please keep coming like this more often. And please give your association to us. Even as a spiritual doctor.
This is my lifeline also. I'm also surviving because of all of you.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
So if there's no comments, Ankit Jankesh Prabhu,
Hare
Kai comment.
No, Prabhuji, no,
No
nothing.
comment, Prabhuji.
No
That's very
comment.
nice.
One question, Prabhuji. One question, really, actually. You said that you have to perform some regular activities like Sandhya Vandan and all, right? Sandhya Vandan or giving water to sun. Such kind of activities should not be ignored or neglected while performing Krishna conscious activities like chanting and all. So, but some when we read, it is said that the Krishna consciousness, whatever we do, chanting, everything is the highest and all. So such kind of things also we read actually. So sometimes I get confused, Prabhuji. So how to understand this?
Prabhuji, what I heard from the different devotees that the chanting is definitely the prime things, but we cannot leave eating also. We have to take prasad every day. We have to sleep 6 hours. So the basic things in life will never changes. Even we are not at that stage. When you reach at the level of pure devotee, kind of Abdul, all these Sadhguru Swami's levels, till at that times we have to do all our prescribed duties, whatever it comes. As what you are born as a, whatever your Brahmana, Kshatriya, whatever your Vaishya, whatever your nature is there and your Varna is there, we have to follow the duties as a parents. That always says that as a parents, as a children, as a spouse, as a colleagues, we have to follow all our prescribed duties. We cannot neglect that. As we cannot leave eating, we cannot leave sleeping. The same way, till the time we reach the stage of bhava, where nothing matters, only Krishna name matters, and we have to follow all these things, because these things help in addition. We can see Surya as a son of God. We cannot, right now, we cannot see God. We cannot experience God. We are not so pure. But at least by seeing Surya, we can understand, oh, it could be the Surya looks like the eyes of Krishna, because Bhagavan says that Surya and moon is my eyes. So from that way, we can understand, and we can just put the water and earth and just pray that worshipping Surya, what it comes that it gives not only the physical health, it's important for physical, mental, and spiritual health. And by putting water, it gives the our physical health, gives the mental health and the spiritual, which is all three important for our spiritual life. And similarly, that Sandhya Vandan is very important because it regulates your lives. In our ISKCON also, whoever got the Brahmins, they also do Sandhya Vandan, they do also Gayatri. We cannot say that Gayatri mantra is inferior to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So definitely till the time we reach on that stage, we all are practitioner. We have to follow our prescribed duties. Many times what happens in the name of a spiritual life, we leave our prescribed duties. That is not correct. Till the time we reach the layers of bhava, we have to follow the prescribed duties, whatever there we stage. Right now, we're Grihasthas or we are Brahmana, whatever duties are we have as parent, I told you, parents, children, spouse, whatever is there, we have to follow our whatever tradition, family traditions, family rituals. These are very important because we cannot say that ki now I am beyond all those things. This is a very immature thinking. That's why immaturely, we should not leave anything. The family rituals, family traditions, till the time we reached at the stage of bhava. And when you're bhava, you'll not be here. You will be somewhere else. You will somewhere else. We have to follow those things. Because these things will teach our children and the peoples around us also. And family also will see, the people around also will see, society will see, oh, these peoples are kind of in the social system also. They're not doing anything else. That's why Chinya Swami was saying also, we should not become a kind of cult. Sometimes because it's gone many times because it's cult. It's not. Our system is not cult. We are following the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and they should also understand that the social system that we are and that Vedic social system, Vaishnav system.
Yes. Thank you, brother. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Prabhuji, thank you so much for a wonderful class, Prabhuji. Just one question, Prabhuji. Can you please guide us, like how you are able to balance your, being a doctor, your professional life, and well as this ISKCON, and also Grihastha, being you have small kid also. So how you are able to balance? Can you please guide us? How you are able to balance your devotional journey?
Actually, Prabhuji, I was discussing with my wife recently that balancing is a myth. Balancing is a myth. Usually, I was discussing with my father-in-law also. And they are Madhva, but I really, he's my kind of good mentor also. He was telling me that our life is like a pie chart. Our 24 hours is like a pie chart. And the 24 hours, everyone knows the pie, in the mathematics. And in the pie charts, we have to divide your family life, your spiritual life, your professional life, or maybe your personal life. We cannot go, beyond, we don't have beyond 24 hours. If we give too much emphasis on your professional life, your family life going to compromise, your spiritual life going to compromise. If you give too much emphasis to your, family life, too much means we have to give time to the family life. I'm not too much means too much indulgence, the other activities, even sense gratification also needed because we are not pure yet. So if we give too much emphasis, our professional life and the spiritual life going to compromise. If we give too much of professional, I see that my HOD, he's pure professionals, and he is a very good teacher. He's a very good neologist. He has a good name all around the world. If we call the neologist, he is one of the name, Dr. J.M.K. Murthy. He's very popular and very well known. He wrote many papers and researchers. He's kind of president of the Neological Society right now. But if you see his spiritual life, nothing. He's a Brahmana. He's a Murthy, Telugu Brahmana. But when I went and gave him the spiritual books, he could not accept that. So, because if we go too much in his professional life, his spiritual life, personal life got him, even the personal life, his personal life also got compromised. He doesn't have kind of good social life also. But if we see give too much time on the personal life, personal or family, then definitely your professionals. I see many people who stay at home. They do not want to work in the COVID times. I see many doctors, and mainly the government college, the professors on the senior levels. The junior doctors definitely they work like hard. They don't want to come to the hospital. Their professional life got compromised. But too much kind of spiritual life, too much spiritual life means what happens sometimes in the name of spirituality, in the name of service, we spend more times, and we compromise on our professions and the family lives. That is not permitted. I told you again, the baseline of my talk was to prescribe duties. Right now, we are young couples, we have the young kids, and we are kind of having the provision also in the young time. I'm just starting practicing since my nearly since 7 8 years, that I am at peak of that. So I have to be on that levels. I don't want to kind of become kind of rate rash, but I have to be good professional also. I have to keep updated my knowledge, otherwise I will not be able to practice neurology. So I have to keep updating my knowledge. I have to keep attending in my medical conferences. I have to keep every day morning. I have the classes in the morning. I have to keep attending that and update my knowledge. And I have to practice also that thing. That is also important. Professionally, you have to be also be very correct, and and you have to be spiritually. I told you that compromise sadhana is not permittable. The 16 non-chanting and chanting is very important. Whatever you do, you can divide timings. If morning you don't have time, but morning sadhana is very important, because that gives the kind of boost for the whole day. And some rounds you can keep for the evening and afternoon when you get times. But the 16 on chanting is very important. And then definitely regular principles we follow. But giving time to the family is also important, to spouse your children also. Otherwise they will feel disconnected. And then what happens in later part of life? I see many. I know one Mataji. She's kind of she's kind of now 60s, and recently when I went to GB, I was discussing with her. She's in 60s, and she also had kind of 2 decades in ISKCON, and we both joined almost same time. Now she has kind of teenager kids, and teenager kids, they don't listen to her before, because even when she was growing in the spiritual lives, they were small kids, and kind of somehow a kind of neglect was there, and the children don't feel connected with their mother. That's not kind of good. I told you, we don't have to become a cult. Like, we have to be in the that social system and sampradaya, big sampradaya. So that was the thing I got impressed with the Chinaya Swami, because he never condemned everything, and he put everything in the proper social systems. In the perspective that everyone has different roles in the society, different roles in the families, and we have to follow that things. And slowly we have to become just facilitators to grow in their spiritual lives and become close to Krishna and Vishnu. So it's balancing is myth, but definitely at the different parts of life, like Sunday I can give more time to spirituality, more time to my family. On the weekdays, I have balance time. I have to give 2 hours to chantings, and then in my provisions, whatever 6 to 8 hours, and then evening I have to give time to some family. And in between, both, if your wife is little bit conditional, both of you can listen to something half an hour, whatever suits both of you. It's not like that we have to fix anything and we have to listen to that person only, or that Maharaj only. We have to be accordingly, we have to see that what we can suits to your mood and your wife mood and your sometimes children mood. Sometimes you can just listen to some bhajan and songs like that to involve everyone, kind of things. We have to be better to involve parents, the colleagues. They should feel that comfortable. That's why I told you, we should not leave our family traditional culture also immaturely. That cause lots of damage. Now the many senior devotees, they comes. I cannot name them, but the senior devotees, brahmacharis and grihasthas, when I heard to him that in the initial part they were kind of just kind of being fanatic, and they did a lot of damage, and creating the good and normal devotees. We should sometimes we just speak about how many devotees we make because of me, but we don't seek how many people got away from Krishna consciousness or from the God consciousness because of me. We have to understand that thing also. We have to be very sensitive and sensible, and I told you the compassion is very important, and being compassion means being sensitive is very important. I'm sorry, sometimes I speak in flow. I speak more than what I should speak.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's only that sometimes, what happens is, we get so involved in our professional career that, and then after that, we feel so guilty that, oh, I could not, listen to this, or I could not complete some reading. Let's say we are planning like, okay, for chanting this much time, for reading this much time, for listening this much time. But because of the professional issues going on, sometimes we have to work for 10 hours, 12 hours. So I'm unable to cope up, even though I try to balance, today. I could not listen to the lectures today. So that gives, sometimes, feeling very guilty, Prabhuji. I don't know how to overcome that.
And that's why we have to day and day basis, we have to be prioritize our, things. Means I told you, in the weekdays, we have to prioritize our professions, but the fixed hours of chanting, that should be minimum. And after that, if you have time, then you can go for reading and listening. But chanting should not is the prior things. And then you give profession. If you have get time, then you can go for reading listening. And Sundays or on the weekends, because the IT people, they have the 2 days. That is the reset buttons. We say the reset button. Then if you something you are missing on the weekdays, then you can reset your buttons, reading and more listening you can do, and spending more time to your family on the weekends or on the holidays. So this way, holidays also important to reset our button. Since my childhood, because I just not want to praise myself, but being to become a doctor's engineer, CA, you have to be disciplined. You cannot be. So since my childhood, since when I was in 8th, 9th class, I used to have routine. I used to make routine 24 hours. I have to spend 7 hours on sleep. I have to 8 hours. I have to study, and every day I used to see that. If I'm missing, I'm sleeping more. I'm studying less, and I have to mark on that. Similarly, when I was doing MBBS, I was doing. I have 20 subjects are there. I have to spend 7 days on that subjects, 1 month in that subjects. I have to make a routine. Similarly, on the day to day, that's why sadhana chart is also there in that way. We have to mark every day that we have to every day kind of 2 hours for chanting. How that 2 hours have to take, we have to calculate on that way. It's very important. So 5 days sometimes, I told you balancing myth. Sometimes we go up and down, but we have to reset a button every day. Every day is struggle. It's not easy. 2 hours in a day you give for chanting is not easy. I understand that thing, uh, because when you give the 2 hours, that's your pure time. It's not kind of just doing something and chanting. This should not be done. We sitting. There is quality time. You're sitting doing nothing, and in that 2 hours you can do lots of things. I see that many of my colleagues, they in the 2 hours they publish papers. They do lots of things. They do reading. I'm telling you about the professionals. But that 2 hours I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting and chanting. So definitely it, but our prioritize to spiritual life. That is very important. The spiritual life we have taken, and then we have to that thinking like we cannot become a rat race. We have to be professionally competent, but we cannot be in the rat race. And family life is also important, but we cannot give so much time to the just doing gossiping and all those things. But family life is also important, where you give the quality time to your spouse and your parents or to your children. That's why important, not in the gossiping. So everyday struggle is there, Prabhuji. We have to keep on doing that, and maybe sometimes we'll achieve our goal. Not so
Yes,
easy.
Prabhuji. Sure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sure. Sorry, Prabhuji. One more small question. So, what is the advice that you give? Because being a professional, you become a doctor, and we have so many teenage kids in our satsang, like who are just finishing 10th and going to the +1, +2. So, what is the advice that you give to those kids, like whoever want to pursue, like want to go for a doctor or engineer? Being so many in this world, like so many gadgets are available for the kids. It's very hard to concentrate on the studies. So what is your advice those who want to go for medical or engineering?
This is a closed forum. Can I speak on that forum? Recently, one of my junior doctors, he just finished MBBS. He's practicing devotee. He came to me and he was asking, Prabhuji, what is the right time to get married? He's in 24, 25, and he was asking the next questions that first year of my post-graduation, there are lots of work will be there, and I will not get time for section on chanting. And where should I take the medical college where less work is there, so I can spend more time in the spiritual life, or where I should give more time to my work and I become more competent. So I told them again, going back in the prescribed duties, that our duties, what in the social order we are right now, with student, we have to give more time to our studies. That is important. If you don't give time to your studies, you will not become professionally competent. If you not become professionally competent, first you will not give a good example in the society, in outside world also, even the spiritual society also. Like if you're not a good CA, or if you're not a good engineer, if you're not a good kind of manager, if you're not a good doctor, what advice you will give to the other fellow devotees in your society, within your society only? Forget about the outside society. So we have to be professionally competent when students are there. So for students like teenagers, for the 11th, 12th, whatever, when they're studying, the being a professional competency is very important. It's very important, way beyond your personal, family, and spiritual life also. When you get the time, when you have the proper time, and definitely when I joined Krishna Cons when I was 18, 19, and when I was doing my MBBS, that time I joined Krishna Conference. So even the medical life, you get a time, so they just depending on where you want to put your pie charts, where you want your times. If you want to put times, because when I was doing MBBS, many of my colleagues used to go for the playing for 2-3 hours. They want to go to the movie for every day, or watching some things, reading some novels, something like that. So it depends on where you want to put the things. Those things also, sports also important. I'm not telling it's not important, but we have to balance. We can go for the playing sports half an hour, 45 minutes, where I just get a physical active, I get the entertainment. And sometimes I can, once in a week, I can go for the movie, I can read some books which is not spiritual, some maybe inspiring. But many books are there in outside the spiritual that inspires many devotees. So we can read that, but we have to limit that. But first thing is 2 hours chanting. That is important. For when sometimes exams are there, when we are doing competitive exams, maybe that times we can compromise on that thing. But few rounds of chanting, 4 rounds, 8 rounds, whatever the physical for them. Some people are intelligent, they can read the books fast and they can finish the things. They can have 2 hours chanting. Some people are slow learners, so they take more time. They have less time for chanting. So those things are, these things to be discussed person to person. So we cannot. It's not a standard rule, a generalized rule. you know the many times teenagers come with different issues to me, and these doctors comes to different issues with me. So I take each case as a individually. There's no standard, and the basic thing, that thing, we have to follow regulatory principles that everyone can follow without having spending time on that. And then sadhana time, that is the second important things.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hey Krishna
Thank you
Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam.
Thank you.
Last question, if you are last small question. Like Prabhuji, I work in semiconductor. Our schedules of the projects is like they will expect like as 24/7, Prabhuji, most of the times. Like in the weekdays, they will expect like till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, they will expect the work from us. And weekends also they'll ask, I mean, officially, most of the times, weekends also. Like, so that in that case, how can we plan like for the spiritual thing, Prabhuji? Because nowadays I'm attending the Bhakti Shastri course also, but at least, just like namesake only, because our most of the work means like in the evening only, like in the evening from 4 o'clock, it will be like till 12 o'clock most of the times when the project is in the peak stage. So that time means actually I'm thinking I'm not able to focus on the professional work. It's same like in this spiritual life also in that kind of situations.
Yeah, bro. Because multitasking is very difficult thing. That's why I told you, Prabhuji, that as a professional life also, to be a doctor, I have to be available 24/7 on the phone at least, because some patients are admitted under me in hospitals, and anything can happen, and they call me midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Many times I get the calls, and I be kind of something called on call. Every third day I'm on calls. Every third day, the patient will come, and the juniors will call me from emergencies, and they will ask me what to do, sirs, and I have to call. I have to attend the calls any times. So these things are there. you know the material world is definitely not, because of the modern, I'm not talking the material world, the modern time is kind of exploitative, because this is the nature of they are more of capitalist. They just kind of just about the money and kind of so-called material growth. So they want to exploit, they want available 24 hours 7, not to doctors, even to you also. There's no need for being a 24/7 available for the non-emergency cases. So that's why we have to cut sometimes. We have to cut. The basic thing I told you is that 16 round chanting, that is important. Besides that, nothing is important. Yeah, Bhakti Shastri class, or you're attending and you're listening, so something is going in your ears. So, but what happens sometimes in multitasking, we miss something. We not good Bhakti Shastri also, or we not good Prophet also. So we have to cut sometimes. We have to focus on one thing that will help you in growth in your professionally also and spiritually also. So when your projects are going on, then go away from that room where Bhakti Shastri is going on. Mataji can join and you can listen that recording later. But if you do both the things together, you will not be good in both the things. So better when projects, some things in the evening, some calls are coming, you go to different rooms and attend that call properly. Then come back to Bhakti Shastri when some in between you can come. And later you can listen to that recording classes when you have time. But try not to compromise on your chanting. That is important thing, that you have to take out times. When you got half an hour time only morning, you do half an hour only, then divide in half an hour afternoon, half an hour in the evening, half an hour at night. 2 hours we take chanting every day. So we have to, and then again I told you reset button on Saturday, Sunday. If some chantings are missing, Lilananda also put in one message that if we miss some rounds in the weekdays, we can do extra rounds in the Saturday, Sunday, and to finish that things. So we have some kind of thing there. Ultimately, our whatever we do the chantings and what we're doing is just to become purify ourselves so that we can remember Krishna all the times. That is the purpose of chantings. We can even we're doing project also, but we can keep our minds like that, back of minds. I have to listen to, I have to do the chanting, I have to do the listen to Bhakti Shastri classes. All those things are important. We keep on our subconscious mind like that. But right now, because you are young, we need to be professionally competent. That is important. We cannot compromise on that, because you have the family, you have wife, you have children. So all those things are important. We have to sustain them also. We cannot be immaturely just being a kind of pure devotee, behave like pure devotee. So for regulative principles or sectional chanting is very important any time of life. And beyond that, whatever time we get, we can, and I told you reset buttons. So we have to do on that. So better puja in the evening. When calls are coming, you go in different rooms, attend that call properly. And when you are free, then again come to Bhakti Search class, and then you can hear to recording when you have time and the latest. Don't try to mix up both the things, then you will not become good in both the things. And divide your chantings. And when you're doing chanting, do nothing like that. Just meditate on Krishna. That will be better things. Whatever possible. So if you are leaving, if you are not able to finish your rounds in the weekdays, then finish in Saturdays, Sundays. That is not advisable, but because a close group is there, that's why I'm telling you. Again, we can do sometimes like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vijay. I've gone beyond time. So thank you. But I always feel, energetic when you all, and with all of you. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me the opportunities. Hopefully, we'll meet in persons regularly nowadays. Now, this virtual is not so good.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
as a doctor, you think we can now get out of virtual world, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Virtual
Hare
is
Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
very
Krishna.
side effects.
Dandavad.
You cannot see the faces, and it's kind of impersonal kind of communications.
Right.
Personal communication is always more penetrating than the impersonal communications.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so
Krishna.
much for taking your time in a busy schedule. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji, for joining. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.